Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Salt and Burn This, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Sammy.
I'm Valerie. Just Valerie.
And welcome back to season 3 finale.
Finale. We made it through another season.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make it sound like it's a haul, and it's not. It's just like hit play and let it happen, you know?
But it's kind of strange. It's like, in a year and a half, we've done 3 seasons.
Yeah. Well, because we don't just watch it, but it is, I am loving going back and watching this. I've discovered so much more about Supernatural.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed this. It's hard work. There's no like, quit petting your dog. Oh my God, she's so cute.
She's just saying hi.
Hi. Ears. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this one. This was another good. They did another good job. Another whiz bang of a season finale.
That they did.
Where do we start?
I don't know. I do need to get the thing though to read.
Oh, okay.
DVD box.
You have a lot of boxes over there.
Oh, yes. I've been a little crazy on Prime Day.
Oh. Do you know the only thing I found on Prime Day? Dog treats. I bought like 10 packs of dog treats. That's the only thing I found worth spending money on. Good dog. He's set for a little while.
But also, I inherited a nice new window unit. So that's the old one in the box that I need to figure out what to do with. Probably sell it or give it away.
I definitely.
But yeah.
Nice.
And then there's just some bins that I need to put away. But
welcome to living in New York.
Yep. Okay, we ready?
I'm ready.
Great. Season 3, Episode 16, No Rest for the Wicked. Dean's time has run out. With Bobby at their side, the brothers battle Lilith and her demonic army in a last, desperate attempt to save Dean from eternal damnation. Written by Eric Kripke and directed by Kim Manners.
Yay. Perfect team. Perfect team for this.
Generally is them on the finales.
Yeah. Well, because it's like bring in the A team, you know, not like there hasn't been, and there's been one or two, but you know, I just feel like them going, you know, here, step aside, you know, we'll take care of this one. You know, we'll do it. I'm not going to say anything about the title, No Rest for the Wicked. I always thought it was just are you waving at me?
Nope. Just.
Oh, I thought you were like, don't talk about the title, Valerie. You always
hand gestures. I don't know why. Has nothing to do with anything. Continue.
No, that just reminds me real quick. The show I just did, I have to call cues for follow spots, tell the follow spots where to go, like who to pick up and then who to fade out on. Well, I kept giving them warnings or descriptions and then pointing as if they could see me. You. You know? Yeah, and I'm like, sorry, I just pointed. Where you need to pick up is stage left.
Yes. I do things like that all of the time. Like on the phone or something. It's like, you know, it's up there.
Sorry, I'm gesturing with my hand.
Yes.
But the No Rest for the Wicked, I just thought that was a saying. No Rest for the Wicked. Right? It's just one of those sayings that you hear. I don't know who started it, who said it, but I read somewhere that it's actually the name of a song, and I didn't look it up because I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to try to make it fit in the episode. It's just the title. No Rest for the Wicked.
Well, I do know that there's one song called Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. And I can't remember who it's by. But I know the song. Ain't no rest for the wicked. But it's like more like I think a 90s grunge song or maybe an early 2000s style. Okay. So not a like a classic rock song.
Okay.
I wonder if it is though. But you know what? Here's the thing. You've kind of been right in that it's a trend that they have titled the episodes from songs. And occasionally a movie here and there. But like this season has been a lot of song titles. All right.
Okay.
So in our recap, the then Carry On My Wayward Song is back.
Yes. Carry On My Wayward Song. Yeah, so that song is playing fabulously during this recap. And what we see is, can we get Dean out of his deal? Lilith, Ruby, the Demon Blade is mentioned again. The Hellhounds are mentioned. And then the quintessential Dean saying, I don't want to go to hell. Is basically the recap. That was my take of the recap.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just like a big nice montage. Of the season. Like there's one mini montage of just like gunshots of them killing things with their guns. And it does end on that nice shot of Demon Dream Dean, in Little Dream of Me,
right. Where his eyes turn black.
His eyes turn black and he says, this is what you're going to become, which is like Dean's biggest fear.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now Dean is racing through a forest.
Yeah.
And it's cutting back from like a first person camera of him and then like kind of behind him, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like we see like through his eyes running, but then we see him running. Yeah. And we see him looking back over his shoulder while he's running, but we don't see what he's running from. But what we hear is like snarling and growling. Chased by dogs, wolves,
Right. And he comes to like a sudden stop as he sees what he was running from. And then the first person camera like switches from him to the Hellhound. It is the Hellhound. You can see like the
blur.
It's like a different kind of vision that they have.
Yeah. Something is watching him. Yeah. It's now the animal's vision. Yeah.
And then Dean gets tackled to the ground and attacked. And then he wakes up to a horrific picture of a hellhound in a textbook that he was poring over.
That he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Note to self, do not do demon research or hellhound research before going to bed. I used to, when I was in grade school, I used to try to read, like, shut up. Like, it wasn't necessarily Tiger Beat, but it was one of those, like,
sorry. I thought you were just like, I used to do demon research before bed when I was a kid. That's kind of what it sounded.
No, the complete opposite. Valerie never did. No, it was, I tried to affect my dreams by reading something like cute boy magazines, so I wanted to dream about, the Michael J. Fox or, whoever was my little crush back then.
Yeah.
So I used to try to affect my dreams that way. So
that's funny.
I believe that you bring in, into your subconscious what you were previously doing before you fell asleep.
Sure.
Yes. So I did not read demon research. That would be you'd know a whole different Valerie if that were the case.
I think so.
So thankfully Dean is not being torn to pieces by hellhounds. He was just dreaming, but that picture was beautiful. Yeah. It was terrifying, but so cool. So he wakes up, Sam is in the room talking to him. And he's
got good news that, with only 30 hours to go, Bobby has found a way to Lilith.
To find Lilith. Yeah. And Dean doesn't really want to maybe go after Lilith anymore.
Yeah.
He's like, well, how about we just go to Tijuana? Yeah. Let's go take in a disgusting donkey show. And thankfully Sam is like, let's never do that. That's like, even if you do go to hell and come back, let's never do that. But Sam is determined. Sam is determined to make everything okay because he's doing that whole Dean. We're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to be fine. We're going to keep working on this. Everything's going to be fine. Dean's like, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Not really buying it, but then as he's talking to Sam, Sam's face changes. It does that mutation, ghosty, gooey.
Yeah, it turns into like a horror movie. Like
that
face.
Like that hotel guy, who was asking for the rent. He was asking for the rent from that lady from the lawyer.
Yes.
But yeah, so Sam's face went all ghouly, but Dean didn't say anything. He's just like, okay, then here it goes.
Whatever you say.
Yep.
Title splash.
Title splash.
So now the boys are hurt.
Puppies. Sorry. This prop was just ridiculous. This prop was just ridiculous.
And then they didn't even say what it was. They didn't really mention it at all. He was just like, all I need is a name and like the right kind of ritual and we're good to go. But then didn't really mention.
It was like a giant compass,
it was a giant compass.
A surveyor's tripod or something that they just like opened up, slapped down on a map.
It's something that Indiana Jones would have used to find like the map in the
it had like a little pendulum string and they're just like, give me the date, give me the time, and the pendulum like swings and then goes boonk and points to a place on the map. I'm like, that was the dumbest thing. I mean, that was a cop out.
You know what? I bet it's a real thing.
Like a diviner, a demon diviner?
Maybe. Hold on. I'm just going to Google diviner and just see. Okay,
because it was just so freaking big, considering it literally just looked like the bottom half of a surveyor's tool, like one of those guys who's always out on the street looking through a monocular. Whatever.
Yeah, I Googled diviner and all I'm getting are like nerdy, like Magic the Gathering kind of characters.
Like a divining rod, but for demons. That's pretty funny.
I mean, they got the pendulum part right, because I'm seeing a lot of images of people like holding the thing. And I do know that some spiritual people and like psychics or maybe like people who work with crystals, they do stuff like that. They have like a crystal and a pendulum.
Right.
I see it on TikTok all the time.
Like and also depends on which way it, is it clockwise? Is it counterclockwise? Let's look up donkey shows. Let's not. That's gross. I just wrote down gross. Yeah. I remember learning about those when I was a kid. I was like,
that makes me think of the movie Clerks 2, which there's like a huge plot line about a donkey show going on there. No. It's very up Kevin Smith's alley. I'll just say that. And the raunchiness that goes with it.
There was an episode of House where they danced around the topic of a donkey show. And it turns out that there's a woman who came to see House and she had some sort of rash or something. And it turns out she was like allergic to donkeys. And so House surmised that she was doing donkey shows. No, she was playing the Virgin Mary in a nativity. So it was like complete opposite of what you thought it was going to be, right?
Yeah, even the Supernatural wiki just says Bobby performs a tracking spell by pulling out a device.
I think that the entire Supernatural world just went,
like, yeah, okay.
All right.
So anyway, he pulls out a device and he is able to surmise with a certain Latin ritual that Lilith is in, where is she? New Harmony,
Indiana, which is a real place. I looked it up. Nothing happens there. It's just a real place.
Yes.
Sam brings up the idea of summoning Ruby again. And Dean's like, nope, not going to do it. Nope. Really hates Ruby.
But Bobby's siding with Sam.
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, Sam is right. We have no way to kill Lilith. Yeah.
And she's got the blade. So let's get the blade. And Bobby's like, what? He seems like a little taken aback by how vehemently Dean is like, no.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. And the more I listen to Dean, the more I get it. But initially I was like, I was kind of in their boat. I was like, why not? This is get the blade, do the thing. And when you listen to Dean, he's like, we have to be smarter this time. We have to be smarter. We can't just
We're not going to make the same mistakes all over again.
Yep.
Says
so
it
go
once.
back to researching. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got to figure out a way.
Yeah. So then later, Sam is in Bobby's basement, not listening to Dean and summoning Ruby anyway.
Summoning Ruby. Yep. And poof, Ruby, who's still pretty pissed about whatever injustice happened last time for her, which I totally forget how she exited the scene. But
she killed a bunch of demons, right? Because it was
it was the Lilith
Henriksen,
episode.
The Lilith intro.
Yeah, so she hacked her way through a crowd of demons and left. So she ends up saying, because Sam confronts her, like, why haven't you helped us up until now? And she does the whole, you weren't ready, you're not fit, you're not ready to do this yet. Here's a question. I don't know if you noticed this, but during this interaction between Sam and Ruby, they did the circle, the camera kind of circled around them like a 360, but it was like super jerky and unsteady. Did you happen to notice that? And it wasn't like that for any other part in this episode. It was just for that scene between the two of them. And it was really weird. It wasn't like handheld. It was just really shaky, unsteady camera. And it seemed very intentional.
Specifically, I guess I didn't really notice that, but I wrote down when she shows, Sam was like immediately going after her because she had kept things from him. Like you said that, Dean couldn't be saved. Oh, but you can. So once she kind of switches in that mindset, it's like, because you weren't ready, but now I see that you are. It felt like to me she was like circling him like prey almost, like she was surveying this guy, not prey. What kind of prey?
Just
but
sizing him up. Okay.
Maybe that's what I got from the camera angles, but I didn't clock that it was like shaky or anything like that. Yeah. But I did feel a certain power dynamic kind of switch a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. So she ends up saying that Ruby herself can't save Dean. So she's like, I didn't lie about that. You can save Dean. So it's not that Dean isn't savable. I can't do it. You can do it. And Sam's like, how can I do it? I don't have the powers anymore since Yellow Eyes died, and they weren't that big anyway. And Ruby's like, oh, just because they're not there, they could be dormant. Doesn't mean they're gone.
Right.
And
it was like way more than psychic stuff too.
Yeah. And you kind of see just a little glimmer of, but that's it. You don't see any other, yes, this is our answer now. You just see a little glimmer of it. And just as Ruby has said that, and you see Sam kind of leaning into, oh, this is something I could probably do, Dean walks in. Yeah. So Dean walks in. He's like, well, of course you two are both down here because I told you not to do it.
Yes.
What does he call her? He calls her slutty little Yoda. I'm like, what does Dean have against Ruby that he's always like calling her a skank and a whore? And I'm like, what has she done sexually that he would have those types of disparaging names to call her? I mean, he can call her whatever, he wants, but I felt like he always went down like, I'm like, that's he
did, especially since she did save his life.
More than
from
once.
The witches.
Yeah, but slightly misogynistic on his part. But granted, he is facing 30 hours till hell.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting. I was like, damn, Dean, you're really wearing that misogyny. But Ruby gives it back to him, thankfully. She's like, you dumb, spineless dick. Yeah. I was like, all right, good job, Ruby.
Yeah. And that's what gets him to punch her in the face. And then there's this huge, drag-out, badass fight between Dean and Ruby, and a little bit of Sam, too, where Ruby just kind of shoves him out of the way. It's like, get out of the way.
Let me at him.
Yes.
Yeah. He kicks her ass, And then she kicks his ass.
Yes.
And of course, it turns out that Dean did that on purpose to distract her. And he secretly, while they were fighting, got the demon blade away from her. So it was totally worth getting, his ass kicked because he got the blade away from her.
Yes. And B, she walked right into a devil's trap, which he had set up beforehand, knowing that Sam was going to break the rules and call her anyway.
Yep. And they kind of nanny boo-boo her. They're like, all right, peace out. They're like, they leave her. They leave her in this demon trap.
They leave her screaming in the basement where she's like, I hope that you get ripped apart.
Right. See you in hell type of thing.
Other graphic insults. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't quite know how I feel about Dean in this moment, because he wasn't like suave, cool. And he wasn't just like laser focused how he gets sometimes, because he can be a real badass, but it's like laser focused badass. And so you can get behind it. Right now, I'm like, I'm not really behind this attitude.
Yeah.
So the next thing we see is Sam and Dean loading a shit ton of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam brings up the idea of, what if Sam can kill Lilith? That would be the end of their problems.
Right. He is like, if he himself is a surefire way, then why not use it? I don't understand why we're not using all of the weapons and arsenal that we have at our disposal, including Ruby and including myself.
Right.
But Dean repeats again, we're not going to make the same mistakes all over again.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Deals. Yeah, he's like, we keep making deals to save each other, and look at where that's gotten us. Dad's dead. I'm on my way to hell. You saving me is only going to get you killed. It's not going to save me.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so Dean has thought about this.
Yeah.
And I actually made a little GIF of this scene, but it didn't play very well. And I was a little bummed out about that, because there's this moment where Dean says to Sam, "You're my weak spot and I'm yours." And Sam says, "No, we're family." And Dean says, "Exactly." And the bad guys know that.
Yeah.
So that's what they're, anyway, I was a little bummed out that particular GIF didn't get much attention. Because it meant a lot to me. So if you haven't seen it, it's on our page. Go back, look at it. Okay. So Dean says, let's go. You need to go after Lilith the way Dad taught us. So none of these deals. We're going to fight. We're going to fight and go after Lilith the way we were raised to do it. The Winchester way. He didn't say that. But.
Yeah. So yeah, after he finishes this like nice big dramatic speech where it's got like the sad brother music playing under the da 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 da.
And it's been all these like soft close-ups and stuff between Sam and Dean. Yes.
I love that it's Sam who breaks the moment here. It's like, you totally should have been jamming Eye of the Tiger on this. And I want to say, just wait.
Yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Ruining the moment. Poor Dean.
But he's like, yeah, and I even practiced that speech. Yeah. So what does a demon do for fun? That's a good question. What does a demon do for fun? We find out
that they
possess... Yes, they possess little children.
Yes. Oh, boy. So in Indiana, in this like cul-de-sac of millionaire homes.
Yes.
Got two old men, Leave It to Beaver style, just chatting it up at the mailbox very pleasantly.
Yep.
And one old man shakes the hand of the other to say goodbye and leaves him with a note with a plea for help.
Yeah. Yeah. Does the old slip you $1 handshake bribe thing.
We call that the Italian handshake, but with a note instead of $100 bill.
You're right. And it says help us or please help or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is frightening because these are two old. I mean, these are like two grandpas, you know. And so Grandpa left holding the note is like, wonder what this could mean. And he kind of looks up to see the note giver, go back into his house, close the door. And it's like, I wonder what that was about. We then see Grandpa inside the house, like close the door, lock his front door. And then as he turns to go down the hallway, the front foyer of his hallway, steps over a fly-bitten corpse of an older woman.
Yeah.
And just keeps on going. Just crosses down the hallway. That's my stage manager. Walks down the hallway into the kitchen where I'm assuming his kids, his in-law, his son-in-law is.
Yeah,
it's
never established whose father he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he walks to a couple who's like fearfully preparing a cake, just on edge. Is like, is she around? Is she around?
Yeah. They're like force whispering. It's like, is she here? Quiet, she'll hear you.
Yes.
That force whisper. So they're talking about, we're assuming, a little girl, because they're like, where is she? She's upstairs playing with Freckles.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you talk about somebody and they appear, because then, like, out of nowhere, this little girl shows up. It's like, hey, mommy. That whole mommy thing.
Yes. In a pretty, pretty little princess pink dress covered in blood.
Like she did a slip and slide in blood.
Yes. And she is just as cheerful as she can be.
Cutie pie as can be.
Yes. Yes. And she says, like, oh, sorry, this was from Freckles. He was annoying me, so I put an end to it.
Yeah.
So the cat or dog now all over her dress.
Oh, that's funny. I automatically went to cat for some reason.
I did too.
I didn't even think it would have been a dog. What does that say about us that we went directly to cat? Huh.
I don't know.
But yeah, so little girl murdered her cat and then tries to like say, all right, daddy, let's go play. And dad's like, do you want to change your dress first so the neighbors don't see it all dirty? And she does one of those, I love you, daddies. And like hugs him. The look on his face, I couldn't tell the horror. Was it horror because she was splattered in their pet's blood? Or was it horror that there was this demon hugging him? And I couldn't tell.
Probably both.
Probably both.
I would think probably both. That whatever this thing was, murdered their cat and then is now...
Oh, and the babysitter.
Monsters. Oh, and the babysitter, yes.
Yeah, she mentioned, she's like, the Freckles was mean to me, just like the old babysitter. And I was like, oh, because at first I thought it was grandma in the hallway.
I did too.
But all right, luckily it was just an old babysitter.
It's just a babysitter. So I felt like the dad here was kind of gauging her reaction here, because she was like, oh, you're so smart, I love you. And then he dares it even further and it's like, hey, maybe we could go, let us go, which was the wrong thing to ask.
Yeah, because she automatically turns it into, you don't love me, and then they're like, oh God, no, we all love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. Don't you love her? Yes, yeah, you love her, I love her, yay. Oh God. So cut to Dean and Sam. Sorry, that was good timing.
I know.
Outside your window. Dean and Sam still haven't left to get to New Harmony. They're trying to start the Impala, but it won't start. And it won't start because Bobby has taken, I'm assuming, the distributor cap from the car, and he's like, "You guys trying to ditch me?
Yeah,
trying to go after Lilith without me." And when you say ditch me like a prom date, I was like, ouch. Having been the prom date who did get ditched.
Hurt. No. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. I couldn't really blame him in the moment, but it was one of those, hey, my buddies are going to go do this party. And I was like, all right, bye. Yeah. Anyway, he went off with his buds. It's fine. I drove, so he didn't have his driver's license. Yeah. So at 19 minutes into this episode, we get the now canon, now famous Bobby line, which is family don't end with blood.
Didn't Dean say that before?
Bobby.
No, I know Bobby said it now. But in Dream a Little Dream, didn't Dean say that or something like it?
I don't know.
Yes, I found it, and you are right. He doesn't say it there. What he does say is, "You're like a father to me." So a different kind of like family
monumental
establishment thing, yes. But not the words "family don't end in blood."
Yeah, and that's been a calling, appalling. That's been a never mind. It's what I said it was before.
Yes.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Bobby said it. Yeah. And it means a lot to our audiences.
It does. He also says that Dean is playing wounded because Bobby knows that Dean is seeing hallucinations now because that's par for the course when hellhounds are on your tail within like that last day.
Yeah. How does Bobby know that? Because Bobby's smart. He's like, I know things.
Yes.
So he knows about the hallucinations, the closer you get to, he tries to explain it to Dean. He's like, he ends up having to dumb it down and say the closer you get to hell's bitches, the more you can recognize the bitches or something like that. Oh no, the closer you get to being hell's bitch, the more you recognize the bitches.
Yes.
He also says, I'm coming with you. So off they go. He gives back the distributor cap. They fix the car, and
they go.
2 cars of hunters go driving off.
Yes.
I love this scene.
I know, I did too.
I really
scene. Did too.
So
Sam tries to start off with a what did I call it? A drive and dive, kind of. But they're not really diving into anything. Usually they're like talking about research, but here it's just a drive. But Sam tries to start off with a Misty goodbye speech. Dean shuts that down real quick and instead puts on Bon Jovi, Dead or Alive, which rocks on occasion, and this is one of those occasions. Yes. And then they both have this amazing carpool karaoke moment where they are just busting out their lungs.
Singing and hollering. Yes. What starts out, Dean just jumps in. Dean just starts full on hollering. And Sam's like resistant to it. And he's like, dead or alive. And then he really starts to get into it, and then he starts to sing hollering. And as soon as Sam really starts to get into it, I think Dean hears the words, which is dead or alive. And he kind of pulls back again. And, the irony of the moment not lost on him.
Yeah. You know what? I know that Dean has a voice of an angel, but Jared isn't bad. He's got potential.
Used it more.
I think.
So Dean gets pulled over.
Yes.
Goes speeding past a cop who is waiting on the side of the road. As he goes by, we see that one of his taillights is out. And so Sam's like, "Oh, you're getting pulled over? Oh, it's because I have a busted taillight." Right.
Yeah. The cop comes up and, asks for the typical things. And as Dean looks up at him, he kind of stutters. It's odd for him to lose his train of thought or his suaveness. Usually I'm sure he had a whole
because his registration says Sammy
Mr.
Hagar on it, Mr. Hagar, and he thought he would have done some sort of swaggery, Dean
swagger,
move.
Yes, that's the word that I was looking for.
And he didn't. He just kind of was, like you said, he stuttered for a second and then slams open his car door, knocking the cop back. And Sam's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Punches the cop and then jams the demon blade up this guy's chin and kills him, but he's the demon, so he does the whole lightning, and Sam again is like, I know our sound effects. Sam again is like, "What the hell?" And just then Bobby drives up and is like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "It was a demon."
Yeah, it turns out he can see the true face of a demon underneath the human one.
Underneath the meat
That's
suit.
Part of one of the hallucinations he's having. He's he can see the true form of a demon. Which Sam is like, "Great, that's going to come in really handy when we go closer to Lilith."
I wrote down, I was like, that's new.
Yes.
I wrote down, that's new.
It is new.
So the guys hide the cop car, which they did a terrible job of doing, but you know, they only have 5 hours to go, so I understand why they didn't do a top-notch camouflage job on the cop car. Right. Oh, and this is where Bobby talks about Hell's bitches. And you see their bitches. Sorry, I jumped the timeline.
That is quite all right. Okay, so now we're back at Lilith's house.
Yeah.
They're putting the cake that they were making earlier on the table. It's her birthday every day. Who knows how many birthdays that they have had here.
Right. And Dad's like, it's cake again. I mean, and the table's just like coated with cookies and candy and you know, frippery. And she's like, yay. And she blows it. She's just sickeningly sweet. She blows out her candles.
Yes.
And I love them singing happy birthday. These people under duress are like, happy birthday. Yeah. I mean, they literally are just like, please don't kill us. Please don't kill us. Happy birthday. I don't want to die.
Yeah. So then amidst all this like frivolity and cake, she turns to the grandfather and immediately demands why he asked for help.
Yeah. Why'd you go to the neighbor for help?
Cheerful, sickening way. He tries to deny it, and he's like, I didn't do it, but she's like, you're a liar. I can tell. Yeah.
And the family didn't back him up.
I know.
He turns to him, he's like, I didn't do that, right? Right? And they didn't back him up.
No.
They absolutely threw him under the bus.
And Grandpa says, help me.
Yeah, he implores them.
Yeah.
You know, help me. And they don't. Yeah. And Lilith snaps his neck.
Yep. She doesn't like him anymore.
Nope. And plop into the cake goes Grandpa.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then ends that with, let's have ice cream.
Yeah. This kid did so good.
Oh, she was so creepy. Again, supernatural and creepy kids. Mm-hmm. Yep. I was glad they didn't use, because she wasn't the same little girl as she was before, was she? Yeah, I'm glad that they switched her for like that Lilith does this like demon body hopping thing. I'm glad they didn't use the same little girl, because that would have been like a dead giveaway for us.
Right.
In the beginning. Yeah.
Right.
So outside, Sam and Dean and Bobby are now in New Harmony, peering through the bushes. Yeah, surveying the scene. And Dean now it turns out it is handy that he can see demons, because he's like, it's a little girl, you know, so's the mailman, and so is Mr. Rogers over there. Yes. So I think that guy was the one that Grandpa handed the note to. I think, right? Oh, no, it was somebody different. It was somebody different sitting in his chair. A different old man? That was a different old man. Okay. Because I think she ended up killing the other guy. The please help me guy, but we don't see that. It wasn't him. It was somebody else. But I thought it was interesting that we don't get to see what Dean sees. Like we don't see the demon faces. We only saw the Oogie face that Sam made because of the hellhounds. We don't get to see it. Only Sam sees. I mean, it's only Dean sees. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, I want to see what he sees. But nope, it's Dean's superpower at this moment. Yeah. And so he sees the demons have just like taken over the neighborhood. Yeah. Just everybody in there is a demon. Mm-hmm. So next thing we see is Mom in bed, reading bedtime stories to the little girl for like the 27th time, which, by the way, not demonic. That is just a child. If you've ever babysat, they want you to read it again and again. Anything to stay awake. Anything to not have to go to bed. However, with a non-demonic child, you can be like, I'm not reading this again. Go to bed. Shut up. Right. Without fear of death. Yes. Yes, which I think was true. Her like frustration of like, oh my fucking God, please just stop. It also was a terrible story. About a princess or a dragon wanting to kill a princess or something, and it was fairly graphic. It was like a dragon needing the blood of children to as a sacrifice or something. Which I swear I was babysitting one night and I thought I would read Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, because I was like, oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Have you ever read Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? No. It's like bank robbers and guns and blowing people up with dynamite. And I was like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have picked this book off the shelf. So sorry.
It's funny. This is another like derailment, but it's funny that that generation was so like up in arms over the violence of video games and stuff when they're youth books,
right?
Or stuff like that,
right? Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So, I do want to point out here that before, because Bobby, the boys make a plan, to kind of like sneak ambush all of these demons, and they go through it pretty well. They sneak up on the mailman, they sneak up on Mr. Rogers, but before that, they are talking about why they are doing this and what is going to be the goal at the end, which is to gotta kill Lilith, which means you gotta kill the little girl. And, Dean, of course, anybody would be like, no, you won't, he made a reference to something, like to gank a little girl.
Oh, right. Oh, no. He says something necktie. What is it when you put a tie around someone's neck and you set it on fire? A Bolivian necktie or something?
He says, it was something like that.
Yeah, we can't drag this little girl into the street and give her a something necktie.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a fairly graphic way.
Yeah, it was. But both Sam and Bobby are like, listen, I know it's terrible, but this is like a case of it's good for everybody. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to die if we don't kill this poor little girl. But
Right. And so they set off. Sam and Dean start killing.
Fuck.
Yeah. So Sam and Dean are like killing demons. They do the old like. Dean kind of like does this little dance in front of one of them, and then goes running off. And then the demon chases him, and then Sam sneaks out and stabs him. So they kill a couple of demons with the demon blade.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Bobby has turned sprinkler water into holy water, and. So Ruby shows up out of nowhere, and I'm like, how the hell did she get there? And they even asked that. They're like, how did you get out? She's like, I have my ways, or if you only knew. And I was like, how?
Yeah.
You were in a demon trap. But okay, I'll let that go. And again, Dean takes a second. He's like, I can see your face. Like, I can see your demon, And I'm like, I want to see the demon. I was like, I want to see the demon. But
it was probably too expensive.
It's why Dean doesn't have tattoos. It's why we don't see the demons. But it was still interesting, though. That's still, a mystique. It's still a question. Dean sees it, we don't. And so Sam and Ruby are now arguing again over the blade. Give me the blade. No, you don't need the blade.
Yep.
Use your powers. And then in the middle of their argument, Dean's like, dude. And they look up and they've noticed that like now all the demons from the neighborhood that they haven't killed are like circling the house. And I love this. I recognized one of the demons. It was Dan Shea, who was in a previous episode of Supernatural. He was the fight guy from Stargate that I pointed out in, I think it was Bloody Mary. He's the guy who was outside the museum when they were breaking in to steal the mirror or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is going to be a great fight scene. Dan Shea is in this. He's shown up as a demon. And then like Bobby turns on the sprinklers and they all sizzle and stop. And I was like, that's it? I was so pumped for this amazing fight sequence. And nothing. He literally has a hose turned on him. And that was it. And I was like,
I know. They get you. They like work you up. It's like, oh my God, it's going to be a huge battle scene. And then it's just sprinkler water is their demise.
Literally, they're just like, and they're like, all right, so I'm not going to go in there with the sprinklers running.
Right.
Don't want to get wet.
Yes. So they go in to the house. What's his name? Sam finally does get the lockpick going. He's struggling there in the moment of pressure.
Open.
So they go in, they pass by the corpse and say, okay, well, she's here still, obviously. run into the dad, surprise him, and then they have to do the whole, like, shush, 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 we're here to help you. Okay, don't scream when I let my hands go. Dad does tell them she's upstairs, in her bedroom with my wife. I'm not going anywhere without my wife, because they give instructions, go to the basement, put all the salt, do all the things.
Yep.
And he says nope, and so then they punch him out and then forcefully put him in the basement.
And I love that Dean gave a look. He's like, had to do it. Throws his body, his unconscious body over his shoulder and takes him down to the basement while Sam and Ruby go upstairs. So they've got the blade. They've got like the bloody blade, and they're like walking up the stairs with the bloody blade. And Ruby goes into one room. Sam goes down the hall into another room, and it's Sam who finds the child's bedroom. So he finds the mom asleep or in bed with the sleeping child, and it's in this like beautiful princess bed with the like a canopy bed with the curtains and stuff.
Bed.
And he like slides back the pink curtains, and there's like this angelic child, eyes closed, just sleeping on her mom's chest. But you look at mom, and mom's eyes are open.
Yeah.
And she is literally breathing like she has a rattlesnake on her chest.
Yeah.
And she looks at Dean with the bloody knife and says, sorry, Sam. And says, do it. I mean, she whispers it. She's like, do it.
No hesitation either. She's like, do it.
I think the only thing she's hesitating about is to not wake up the demon.
Yeah.
She's like, do it. Do it. Don't get me bitten by the rattlesnake. Just do it. Yeah. Do it. Do it. And Sam finally gets the courage to do it.
He hesitates. Even in the beginning when he was just like, it has to be done. It's still when you're faced with oh my God, I have to kill a child.
Yep.
It's like, oh God, I don't think that I can do it. And yes, you're right. He finally gets the gumption to do it. And Dean grabs his hand, who has shown up behind him, and said,
right.
It's not her anymore.
Just as the little girl wakes up.
Yes.
And screams because there's a man holding a bloody knife ready to stab her. And it's not her. Yeah. Dean says it's not in her. So Sam was just about to, harpoon this little girl.
Ooh.
But it's not her. So where's Lilith? And I thought it was interesting that they chose not to film the mother's expression in that moment. It wasn't about her, there was but you also didn't see like any after effects of what just happened.
Right.
Like but I thought it was interesting. I was like, what about, nope, not about mom. No. She lives, the daughter lives. Okay.
Yep, we're all good. And we see them like shoving the rest of them into the basement and saying, just stay here.
Yeah.
Just stay here. Across the street where Bobby still is, like keeping watch, he notes, we don't know what time it is, but he does say, damn it.
Yep.
Kind of cluing us into how close Dean actually is.
Yep.
To his deadline. And now that Lilith has escaped somewhere, Sam finally acquiesces to being the weapon.
Right, because the plan has to change now. They can't physically.
Yeah. Right, so he's like, okay, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah, whatever it is, I'm going to do it. I'm ready. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. No more, no. And that's when Dean does the whole, again, whatever you try to do to save me is just going to kill you.
Yep.
And so Sam says, what am I supposed to do? And Dean says, keep fighting. Which, side note, most of our fan base knows that Jared Padalecki battles depression. And he started a support group called Always Keep Fighting. And for the longest time, I thought to myself, why did he choose such a chunky catchphrase? It's not live strong, always keep fighting, which, I mean, it makes sense, but it never meant anything to me until this moment where Dean says to Sam, keep fighting.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course.
Well, that never really clicked for me either. Until just now.
Always keep fighting. So yes, it's his support group for depression. So
yeah, it's like a whole like a foundation, I think. But yes, so then the clock strikes midnight, and everyone just stares at the clock. What?
I'm sorry. Before it does, though, because Sam is right before it strikes midnight, and they realize that there's nothing they can do at this point. Like, what are we supposed to do? And Dean does the whole, keep fighting. He also says, "Take care of my car."
Yeah, take care of my wheels.
And remember what Dad taught us, and remember what I taught you. So you're gonna have to do this by yourself. Yep. Keep going. You're gonna go on without me, but you're gonna do it this way. And then the clock chimes midnight.
Everyone just stares at it, waiting. And then Dean hears
the actual hellhound noises.
No one else can hear it. No one else can see it. But Dean says it's right there.
Yep.
And it's kind of like this. Everyone's just like standing and looking at it, and the dog is looking at them.
Right.
And then they run.
And they all just run. Yep. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Run. I loved the hands on the clock, though, were these like beautiful, like ironwork, twisty, medley looking hands. I thought that was a nice touch.
It's like a proper grandfather clock.
Yes, exactly. So so I was like, this beautiful family moment, and then it's like, enter the hellhound, and then everyone's like, dun dun, and they all just look at each other and run. And they run into another room. They slam the door shut. Dean has goofer dust, and he like spreads the goofer dust in the
like everywhere,
everywhere on the doorway. And we all know from previous episodes that goofer dust does actually repel hellhounds, at least temporarily.
For a while,
yeah. And Sam almost gives in to Ruby, because Ruby is saying, give me the knife.
Yeah,
I will sacrifice myself.
I can do it. Yeah, you guys go do whatever, but I can, the only person that can handle this right now is me, so give me the knife. But then Dean notices, wait, this is not Ruby anymore. This is a different demon.
Yep, it's Lilith. And at the last second, he's like, no, don't. But then it's too late. Lilith like mind blasts Dean, like you said, and then it somehow ensnares Sam, some sort of mind power. He can't run away.
Like she blasts him like up against the wall, and he's just kind of stuck there.
And then and then does this like little weird seduction thing again on Sam. Sam is always being like pawed at, literally, and like kissed and licked by demons. And this time she kisses him like she's a little girl with her first kiss, and she's like, oh, you have soft lips. Sam, she's kissing Sam, not Dean. I keep saying Dean. Dean's my guy.
I know, I don't remember what you said. I was just...
And it's gross.
Also, like, I'm curious about this scene. I mean, on one hand, it's like... It's a way to show a display of power over somebody. Using your feminine wiles, I guess. But it's also just cringy.
Yeah.
It was just cringy and
it was just cringy,
weird.
It's just gross on two levels. For one thing, it's like the body of Ruby that we know. But then it's the embodiment of Lilith, who's like a child, a demon, but yet a child in our mind's eyes, Yes, just because she keeps him like embodying children, but it was just gross. Sam is still trying to. He's like, fine, I'll do whatever you want. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Just let's save Dean.
Let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal. And Lilith says, no, you have to have something I want in order to bargain.
Yeah, and you don't.
And you don't have anything. And she opens the door that they just slammed shut and brushes aside all the goofer dust and lets the hellhound in. Not only lets it in, calls it in and says, sick 'em.
Yep. And we are just all forced to sit there and watch Dean be literally torn apart to shreds by this invisible hellhound.
Yep. In front of Sam. Sam is watching this, still powerless, still pressed up against the wall.
Yeah. He's just
screaming no, while Dean is being torn to shreds.
Eviscerated.
Eviscerated.
And then it gets blood up into his chest.
And the pressure of the body of an animal crushing down on him and tearing him apart at the same time.
Oh, yeah, but it's more so like the claws are literally opening up his chest and like turning him into rivers of blood. Yep. Damn, this was like.
Yep. And
they went hard on this.
While Sam is screaming no, Lilith is yelling yes.
And then she blasts like this white hot light.
The same light she used to kill everybody in the police station.
Yes, she does her white hot power blast. And then as it fades back to normal, Sam is still standing. Well, he's actually in the fetal position, down. But he's fine. He's not. He's not still like burned to shreds. Yeah,
right. He's still there, but he is like crouched down in a fetal position, and you see him like, and you see him start to straighten up. Mm-hmm. And he stands up, and Lilith is concerned. She's like, now wait.
Lilith is terrified.
Yeah, she's like, get back. And she tries it again, and nothing. She doesn't even, it's not even like it's not that he's not affected. She doesn't have the power anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening. Every time she puts her hand out and says, like, stop,
nothing
get
is
back,
happening.
Nothing happens from her end. No light, nothing. Sam's like, all right. And he steps towards her, and he's got the demon blade, and he goes to he's made up his mind. He's going to kill her. And just as he goes to thrust into her, she smokes out.
Yeah.
She smokes out. Throws her head back. Lilith blows out of Ruby's body. Ruby's human body falls to the floor next to Dean's still bleeding, but dead body.
Yeah.
Shredded body. The camera then does this like slow pull up Dean's body to his face and then zooms into his eye. Mm-hmm. So we've literally zoomed into Dean's mind's eye. And Dean, what we see now is darkness, gray, like filmy clouds and chains, tons and tons, like spider web.
It is a web of just like chains and meat hooks. And in the middle of this web is Dean. Like
suspended in the middle of nowhere. Yes. Nowhere. There's no bottom. There's no top. There's no sides. You don't see the beginning of a chain. You don't see the bottom. You don't see the sky. You literally see Dean gaffed like a cow in a butcher line. He's got a hook through his shoulder, through his foot. He is stretched tight between all of these chains. He's still bloody. His mouth is bleeding, and he's screaming. He is screaming, help
into a void.
Yep.
That's the end of season 3.
The last thing we hear is him screaming, Sam. We don't see him. We just see blackness. Like it's gray, like the screen is going gray, and we just hear him screaming, Sam.
Yeah.
End of season 3.
Wow.
Dean actually went to hell. I didn't think it was going to happen. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought there was going to be a, swoop in at the last minute deal or, potion, incantation, something. I didn't think he was actually going to hell. Obviously, I've seen the show. I know he went to hell. But so part of me, the first time, I was like, I didn't think he was going. And so this time when it did happen, I was like, yes, he needed to go to hell. Mm-hmm. This had to happen. Now, granted, we'd already seen how Sam feels when Dean dies because of the mystery spot and the number of times that Dean died over and over and over again. So we already know potentially what's going to happen to Sam. But the fact that Dean is in hell, it's like, it's not just that Dean is gone. Dean is in hell. So he's got his hell story now, his suffering.
Yes.
And Sam is suffering.
Yes, that's what they wanted you to think, was that, Sam was going to swoop in at the last minute and save him, especially since he's like so calm and determined the whole time. And honestly, they weren't even sure if they were going to send him to hell for this. Like, it wasn't until like much later in the season that they said, you know what, I think we got to do it. I think we got to send him to hell. Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad they did.
I'm glad they did. It was the right decision. And everybody on the show thinks like, yeah, this was the right decision. Because if you keep doing it's going to turn into an expected thing. It's like, oh, somebody's in trouble, the brother's gonna save him. Oh, that brother's in trouble, now that brother's gonna save him.
Right.
You're gonna make the same mistakes over and over again.
They call that ex deus machina, which is when, like, in the middle, God swoops in, is basically what it is.
Yeah.
You know? And that happens on so many shows, so you get used to, you know, that happening, which is why there's never any real tension, because they're like, he can't really die because he's this, or this can't really happen because of that. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, the alien race is going to come in and save them again because they've got the spaceship. Yeah, you know, it's, I don't think there's, I think we only see one alien in Supernatural. We've already seen it. So the lady in red dancing alien.
Yeah, I feel like there is another one, but I don't remember.
All right.
Or no, what it is they play it like it's an alien, and then it ends up being something else.
Oh, okay.
That's not so much later, but yeah, I love that there was a big, not a risk, maybe a little risk, but you know, it's just like, oh wow, I did not think that they would have the balls to send the lead character, the hero, to hell. How are they going to get him out? And then you're left with that cliffhanger. And I think that's also why they did it, because they mentioned, you know, in these interviews that I'm reading, that in season 2, it was just okay, we wrapped it up.
Yeah, season 2 was definitely, yeah. Season 1, still by far the best cliffhanger so far. I mean, we went one season 3, but this was great. This was definitely a far better launching into season 4. This literally makes me want to go and watch, because I have to know. Yeah. I have to know how this goes.
Could you imagine if you were watching this in real time and needing to wait
the entire summer?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've done that. I've watched shows like that, and I've done the whole yell at the TV thing. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, no. In fact, just the other day, I was watching an actual episodic piece of television, and it got to the end of the episode, and I was like, oh my God, is that the end of the season? And I'd start texting people. I'm like, when is the next season coming out? How could they have ended it like this? They're like, dude, next Tuesday is the next episode. And I was like, oh, okay.
I know.
So yes, I can.
The way we used to watch TV.
You actually had to wait, and you usually felt satisfied with that, because it gave you something to look forward to, as opposed to, I can't wait. It was like, oh, I can't wait. You know, it was a different, there was anticipation as opposed to instant gratification. I need this now. This was great. I loved this episode.
I did too.
I really did. There was nothing monumentally new about it. You know, it wasn't like, you know, a brand new this or a brand new that. I just solid. Good brother relationships, good Bobby, you know, evil Lilith, evil Ruby. And I'm not tired of Ruby yet. I mean, she was, you know, some people say that they got tired of her ballsiness, I guess, or her she's always cranky. You know?
Yeah, I would say, like, there have been episodes where I was a little worn out from her sass, you know, from the level, like, it's always like a really high level of sass that she runs on.
What is her point, is my question, though.
Yeah.
It's like, I know she wants Sam to complete this task that you know she has, but I'm still like, what is the goddamn task, and why?
Yeah.
You know, why is she so gung-ho? And if she's so gung-ho, like having to wait for Sam to be ready, it's like, why is she such a bitch about it if he's not ready? You know?
I know.
So I'm kind of looking forward to figuring out Ruby in all of this, because clearly she's back. If she smoked out.
We know that she came back. No, because Lilith said that she sent Ruby far away because she was very naughty. So
she was naughty.
Ruby's probably back in hell, or maybe even, I don't know, somewhere else. But
that's right. But again, how did she get out of the devil's trap? Yeah, we know. Spoiler. Yeah. We've all seen the next season. Yes. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I liked the writing. The writing was straight to the point. The little girl was creepy as hell, and I'm still going to ask myself, why did I think it was a cat that she murdered? Why couldn't it have been a dog?
Could have been anything. Could have been a rabbit. Could have been any kind of cute, fluffy little animal that did not deserve to die. Just like Grandpa. Grandpa did not deserve to die, too. I'm not so sure about this family.
Right?
They just gave him right up.
Yeah, there's like, nope, as long as it's not me. Yay. But at least Grandpa didn't suffer. I'll just put that out there. He went quick.
Yeah. He went quick.
And it kind of made me want to have cake after this episode. But I'm always hungry after Supernatural. So, yay. So, Sammy.
Yeah.
The next thing we have to do before moving on to season 4 is our wrap-up episode.
Yes.
So, I want to know if there's anybody out there who has a question or something that they think we should research about season 3. You know, I would love to know if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, that would be fun.
You know, the number of times that Dean said awesome. Please don't give us that. But
I don't have time to watch the whole season again.
Right.
Yeah, like, are there things that you know, a casual fan might track that we don't?
Yeah, or something like that we just touched on but didn't go into any real detail about. You know, I mean, so far we haven't gotten to, because we've been in the demon world, we haven't been able to really research, like, and we talked about this earlier, about like the monster of the week, because it's been demons.
Yeah.
You know, and even trying to look up Bobby's demon divining device, we struck out. So, you know, I would love to know if there's something that we just overlooked in this season or in an episode that you think we should have called out. Or something we missed. I think we're pretty good between the two of us. I think we catch a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm ready to do the research on full season.
Okay. So that is season 3. We will see you for the wrap up next time. Don't forget to follow us, rate us, subscribe to us anywhere you can find podcasts. You can also follow us on social. We are at Salt and Burn This everywhere. We are on YouTube at Salt and Burn This. And yeah, that's it. We will see you next week before we start season 4. Yay!
Yay! Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I know.
All right.
Best
see you
entrance
then.
ever. Okay. Bye.
Bye.